Okay. So this is going to be the steps of how to get licensed for your SIE 6, 63, 26, and 65. It's all the same way. And we're going to go over Kaplan, which is going to be where you take your test at, your practice test, and how you manage and see where your skills are at. We're going to go through Kona Butterflies, which is Brandy, and then we're going to go through Tammy, which is more content based. Okay, so what you first want to do is be able to log in through Primerica. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that here. And when you're on POL, you're going to go to securities licensing, get your securities license. Once you're there, you'll scroll down to getting licensed, and then whichever test you're on is where you'll click on. Okay, so let's say on SIE, you click there, and then you find Access Kaplan online course. And these little blue squares will vary depending on the license you get. So just make sure it says access the Kaplan online course. Agree. Okay, once you're there, you'll go down to enroll in the new SIE 4.0 and you'll enroll in there. If you're already enrolled, you just always click already enrolled, access your courses. Okay. So then you'll see something like this, Securities Industry Essentials. You'll click on that. Okay, so for Kaplan, you're not going to use anything other than study tools. Okay, the first thing you do is click on study tools, and you're going to go under read and licensing exam manual PDF, license exam manual PDF. You're going to click on that, which will then download the LAM to your computer. You're going to open it and you're going to keep it as a tab on your internet right here. You're never going to get rid of this because you always want to be able to use this to reference when you're taking your open book test. Okay, there's something called CTRL-F, or if you're on an Apple product, it's the little Command F. That's going to be for find. So as you see here, I could type in primary market. And now anything that has primary market will pop up and you use these arrows to go up or down. Primary market. The goal with this is to read as many highlighted areas so that you understand primary market in all different areas, how it's being used. Either they can purchase a security from the issuer in the primary market or they can purchase security from another investor. So you're going to go through these to find your answers. If you're not understanding something that's being covered in the Kona or in the Tammy stuff, look it up. Okay, so you're gonna use the lamb to find words. You might do something like bearish and not understand that. You can type it in. There it is, bearish, bearish, bearish. You're not gonna understand. You're gonna have to calls and puts. Let's do calls. You're gonna find calls. That might be a lot. But anyways, you get the point. CTRL-F to find and you type in the words. Then you go back to Kaplan, study tools, and Securities Pro Bank, Pro Q Bank. This is where you're going to take all your questions. Okay, you're going to create a custom quiz. You're always going to click inside of the square, not on the little square. You're going to click inside of the big square. So it's going to take you to unit one. You can drop down. And now 1.1, 1.2, you're going to test on each of those. So let's say we're on 1.4, you're just going to click 1.4, add to quiz, next. Unused questions, always put unused questions because you want to get through all the questions in the Q bank. At least 80% of the questions should be answered on all units. Next, always hit show score as you go, show answer explanations. Those two there will help you understand if you get it wrong, you read the explanation. If you get it right, you just go forward. Don't question why you got it right. You already know it. Um, and then always name your quizzes. So remember, this is 1.4, number one. When you take it again, number two, number three, number four, you're gonna keep going until you're scoring in the 80s and 90s and try to get 100 here and there. So this is gonna be the first one. You hit next and always do 10 questions, maybe 15 the most. Don't go into 20 or 30 questions because this, again, this is to help you get fast at taking tests and understand where you need help on. Then launch quiz. Okay, this is going to be a big thing here. You're always going to start with the answers. You read the answer first, FINRA, the board of directors, the NSYE, the SEC. Okay. And then you're going to try to figure out already the SEC. Okay, that's the big dog. That's the guy at the top. The New York Stock Exchange, that's an SRO. The board of directors, FINRA. FINRA is an SRO. The board of directors usually open mutual funds. They have a BOD. So you just kind of think what you know about the answers already. Then you read the question. Big company, common stock in the New York Stock Exchange listed, declared a 0.24 dividend on Tuesday, May 2nd. The dividend will be paid to holders of record. A big company, common stock on Tuesday, May 24th, and will be paid on Wednesday. Who will set the ex-dividend date? I don't even remember this one. So then you're just gonna go into whatever you think the answer is. New York Stock Exchange, probably not. FINRA, no. I think it's either the BOD or the SEC. Let's go SEC. Oh, New York Stock Exchange. So you're gonna go based off what you know, and I'm gonna get into that later on how to take these tests. Next. Oh, actually, when you get it wrong, this is the most important part. One, it should be open book. So if you don't know the answer, you should already be looking in the LAM. You should be reading through your notes on the section you just took, right? So you go on here and now you read the explanation until you understand why you got it wrong. Don't move forward until you can find where and what words go together. The New York Stock Exchange, and then the ex-dividend date. And I remember actually learning about these. They have like a little Tammy or Brandy have a way to remember this on here. Okay, then you hit next. Read the answers, then the question. If you get it wrong, I got it right on that. If you get it right, you just hit next. Don't read nothing. Okay. Member Mona, only, not gonna click those. Both common or preferred, neither common or preferred. Let's go see. Okay, if you, oh, now there's a good learning thing, okay? Mona is about 90% right. Must, only, never, always. If it's those words are in the answer, is most likely not going to be that. That's why it's important though. Read your question, understand what it is, read the explanation. Okay, so you're good on this. You're just going to take 10 questions, try to get to the 70s, 80s, 90s, hundreds. Once you finish the unit, you're going to go to unit one checkpoint. You can only take this one time. So this is the only time you're doing a closed book test. The rest of the testing you're doing open book because you want to teach yourself the right answers. You want to go to Google and type in that question. You want to go to your LAM. You want to type in the words you're not understanding. Um, on the first one, I could have put X dividend. And it would have popped up here 200 and I could have read what dividend and found where um it's talking about the days, you know what I mean? So you want to be able to do homework on this, research it, because if not, getting the wrong answer is not going to do anything for you guys. So unit two, unit three, you're going to go all the way through on all the units. And not till the end of the week, the last week before studying, the last 7 to 10 days before you have 10 days left before your test, you're gonna start taking the mastery exam, the final exam. You're gonna start taking the big boy tests here. 7 to 10 days before you test, you should be taking a full test every single day. No more 10 questions. You're taking those throughout the day when you can, but you wake up, the first thing you do in the morning, go do a mastery exam one. Okay. Then the next day, mastery exam two. You could do final exam. I think you could do these more and more, but it's 85 questions, so it's gonna mock the closest way to your guys' test that you're taking. And this is the same thing for all the 663. You're gonna launch it and you're gonna go and act as if you're taking the real test. Close book, give it all you got, read the answers, then the question. do all the test taking techniques, which we'll get into when I go over Kona's part. And that's basically all you need. Now, there are other things you can watch. You can watch the videos on here. You can do audio. The more content you absorb throughout the next 14 days of studying, the better for you. But really, you're going to be just using this for your QBank questions and to get your LAM, which is the licensing exam manual PDF. That's all you need right there. Okay, so that's the Kaplan side of it. The tabs on your computer, you should always have Kaplan open along with Tammy if you're doing Tammy and Kona butterflies for Brandy. See, if you see on my tabs up here, this is me really studying for my 26 right now. Like I have all these open. I don't even turn my computer off right now. I just put it to sleep, charge it up, and I'm opening it up so all my tabs are open. I have my Tammy on one. I have my Primerica so that I can log into my Kaplan, and then I have my Kona Butterfly so I can watch her videos. Those never, and then I have YouTube open and you can take and watch other people on here. So I'm always keeping these tabs open. And then you should be using a tablet to fill in the blanks and to take notes and to practice. And then you should be using your computer or tablet to watch the videos and do everything. Okay, so make sure you have a good tablet that you can write with, that you can take notes on. And then I'll share screen on both of them so that we can get all of that done. Okay, for Kona, okay. Test taking techniques is for Kona. It's super hard to go into these testing sites and pass your SIE without any test taking techniques. You can know all the content in the world, and then you go in there, and the test is going to throw you off. They're going to use different words, they're going to use except, they're going to use all these different things. So, the number one thing you want to do on Kona is learn her test taking techniques, which is this. Okay, so on the test taking techniques, she'll even have videos on here, which I'll go to on here. It's called ohms. Associate, um, I forget what they're even called now. Something something OAMS. Watch that video. It's important. You understand how to take this. The why wrong and breakdown. Again, like I was telling you, if you get the question wrong, watch that video and learn what you should be doing for each question that you got wrong. That's what I know. When I get them wrong, I read the definition on the bottom. I look for words that are that I can remember. Okay, this goes with this, matching the words. Uh, 4 R's to retention. Read. I forget the 4 R's too. So just make sure you watch those videos. But this is really the test taking technique that I believe helped me so much was Mona. Okay, must, only, never, always. About 95% of the time, when you see those words being used in the answer, it is not going to be that answer. Just, but a couple questions ago, it was the one with only. All that, and it's only like only is when you're dealing with like laws, certain things will only be, I can only sell a security as I'm a licensed representative. I can't just be a normal person selling securities. So yeah, it is only that time. But if it's like the investor is always going to have a profitable year, like no, not always. It's investments. You can never use the word always. You're never going to lose money. Nope. You may lose money. You may have a profitable year. So the word may compared to never or always or only or must is a lot more likely it's going to be that answer compared to the other one. Now, again, you want to reference the question, you want to read it, you want to make sure. Another thing is when it says except, the four listed below are all listed below are true except. So then you always write A, B, C, D. Every time you're taking the answers, you're writing A, B, C, D down. And let's say D says something that's true. So I'm putting true. Maybe C was false. True, true. All are true except a lot of people will get messed up with this except, or with the other words they use, right? So now I know this is the only one that's not the same. It might be all are false except, so now you're not looking for the truths, you're looking for the false. And you'll notice, you don't even know, you'll see D as F. This will be, and you'll read like, okay, A, that's not true. You know, the secondary market's redeemable. No, they're not redeemable. That's the primary market. Okay, the IPO is in the secondary market. No, that's a primary market. So that's false. Okay, the IPO is in the primary market. Oh, that's true. You know, so the word accept, it's just a true or false. And by not getting those used to mess me up when I'm taking tests, right? So I just know now when I see an accept, I'm writing A, B, C, D, and trues or false. And that's a big help right there because um again, when you're taking your test and you're in the moment, it's gonna be very scary. Every time I'm answering a question, even my practice one, you're always writing A, B, C, D, and then you're reading the answer to number D, C, B, A, or you can do A, B, C, D. Whatever you do, read the answers first. Maybe I write primary here because it's talking about mutual funds. And then I write secondary here. Maybe I do a SRO, and I'm just writing whatever I know. Maybe this is stock. Okay, cool. So then I read the question. But in the answers, you're just kind of seeing what you know about the answer. And then the question is going to be like, what is FINRA? And you're like, oh, it's an SRO. B. You know, it's not a secondary, it is in the secondary market, but that's where you get good at like, okay, I know it has to be this because I know those answers pertain to this area. You know, so that's a big test taking technique. Another thing is when you guys watch the videos and you're listening to everything, I put it in 1.25 speed, which let me show you guys what I mean because there's a lot of content and you really just want to get through it as fast as possible. So what I do is I go to the videos and I when I click on them and start watching them, you guys, I'm always clicking at 1.25 speed and you'll get used to it. At first it might sound a little fast, but if you go here to settings and you go speed instead of normal, go down to 1.25. Okay, that's gonna make your hour-long videos 45 minutes, 38 minutes. You know, it's gonna lower your amount amount of time it takes to get through a video. Okay. With Kona, I do suggest you use Kona and Tammy. I paid for both. It helped me a lot. It's gonna make you pass a lot quicker, and you're gonna listen to Kona all day, every day when you're not doing Tammy. Okay, so that's Kona, test taking techniques. I believe it's very, very helpful. Then you got Tammy, okay, which is more content based. And she is very organized. You start from the top, you read all her stuff, you print your lamb. She has a fill in the blank, which I use personally. So again, you're just gonna go through all her um video course. And on her too, I go down to on the video, look at the first one, 61 minutes. I go to settings, I go to speed, and it's 1.25. On Tammy, I believe it stays like that, so you already have it on all her videos. And then you quiz with Tammy. Again, you're just listening to her, watching her, you're writing down, and here's a good suggestion. You start watching the videos. Things on some of these fit, right? But before, okay, so like if this came up right here, what I'm doing is I'm pausing it and I'm trying to answer the question without her talking first. So I hit pause. A registered representative managing branch office, a silent partner of the firm, a director of the board, a CPA who completes the firm's independent financial audit. There's that except. All of the following persons are defined as being associated with the broker dealer except. So I'm doing true or false. A registered representative managing branch office, that's true. A silent partner of the firm, that one might be not, you might not have to be associated with the broker dealer. A director of the board, that's going to be a CPA who completes the firm's independent financial audit. To me, I'm writing C question mark, A question mark. It's going to be A or C. And then I'm listening to her explain it. And then she's breaking down on how to take these tests. Look at associated, A, NA. So she's going to say associated, non-associated, just like true or false. But she's putting the words with what it is. So NA, non-associated. So it's probably going to be A. Associated question mark. See, she would have did the same thing I did. A question mark, um, A for sure. So the answer is A, right? And then you read an independent CPA is not an officer of an employee. So now you're getting this down. You hit play and you go on to the next one. And I hit pause before I hear her explain anything. And then I'm reading membership organizations that report to SEC, publicly traded government agencies. I'm reading those. And according to the rules that established to sell SROs, these organizations are regarded to which of the following. And now I'm A, B, C, D. I'm like, okay, it's not, if it's not one, that makes B go off and D go off. So now I have a 50% chance. Now it's either A or C. And I'm reading and I'm finding out what I know. And then you quiz on your own. And again, you go to Kaplan, you go to the Securities Q Bank, create a quiz, and you go through it. Um, and you just keep going and going. Tammy is content when you're focused. So I wake up in the morning. If I'm not doing anything, I'll jump on Tammy and I'm sitting here with my tablet and I'm filling in the blanks and I'm engaged. I'm fully focused on learning everything she's teaching me. Now it's time to go to the gym, take Ozzy on a walk, take a shower, get ready for the day. I'm putting Brandy on my phone, I'm putting my headphones in, and I'm listening to Brandy now. So I'm switching back from Tammy to Brandy depending on how my life is. Maybe you got work, but you can listen to headphones, put in Brandy, put her on your phone, and then just listen to her all day. Maybe you're in the doctor's office, you're waiting to be seen. Maybe you're driving around all day to work, home. Anytime you're not fully focused and engaged, tablet and laptop, taking notes, you're listening to Brandy. Tammy is when you're sitting here for 2 hours, 3 hours a day, and you're taking notes and you're filling in the blank and you're doing everything that Tammy is going through. And all of her stuff is very much detailed, super easy to get through. And I'm listening to her for the content. You need to understand the content, but then you need to understand how to take the test when you go there and take them. Um, the conclusion, okay? The conclusion here, I'm wrapping it up, about 4 or 5 more minutes left. If you made it this far, great. Um, here's the things that I suggest, okay? Always be listening to something that has to do with investing. If you get tired of listening to Tammy and Brandy, which will happen about 10 days in, 14 days in, not tired of them, you're just gonna be like, okay, I heard that. I go to the to YouTube, I go to the YouTube and I click SIE test or SIE exam practice, preparation, whatever, anything to do. These people here I always listen to, okay? Which is that girl I just had on there. Oh, these people here. Anytime you see this, SI exam quick, whatever, they're really good. This guy is very, very good. Um, Capital
You're not
Advantage
lazy. You're
Tutoring.
just distracted. And when you're studying for any exam, essay or seven, just
He's very good. He talks about how you should be focused, how you should be studying. I listen to him a lot. Another one is that girl that was on there. Her, this girl here, she's very good too. When I'm going to bed,
if
I
English
put
isn't
her
your
on
first
my
language, let me.
on my TV and I just have that going all night because she has longer videos, 50-minute videos, some are like 2 hours long. But what you can do is find her videos, and this is Past Masters. Okay, so you go to Past Masters. She's very good too. She's gonna go over the questions, the answers, everything you need to know. It's just about hearing all the content from different people, writing things down. I'm a very like do it learner. I gotta get in there and write myself, take the practice test. Some people are listening, but don't fool yourself by thinking you're only one. Oh, I can't do that. I'm a certain way. With these tests, you do it all. You have to be a visual learner. You have to speak out loud to yourself. Even when I'm studying, I talk to Ozzy. Ozzy, did you know the primary market's redeemable? Always new IPOs. Like I am talking to Ozzy, my dog, about what I'm just learning. If because no one else is around. So I'm hearing myself say these things, okay? And you have to be fully engaged the day from the you start to the day you go test should be about 21 to 28 days the most. So if you start today, 28 days from now, you should be testing. Do not go longer than 30, 35 days of studying. What you want to do is cram all of it in to one, 3 to 4 weeks, and then go to your next test, 3 to 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks until you get all the way done with your 65. Um, that's basically it. Let me see. Okay, we went through Primerica, how to get there. Kaplan, again, you're just using this for your study bank, your Q bank questions. You're doing as many practice tests as possible. I suggest 10 question quizzes throughout the day. And that's after, like, on if you're doing Tammy and Brandy, you should go 7 days full content, get through all of it. And then from day 8 to 28, you're taking practice tests all day long while listening to Brandy on the go, on the move. Okay. Your LAM should always be open. Remember CTRL-F or Command F. You type in the word. Um, and that's really it. I think that's it. Anya, do you have any questions or did I miss anything on here? Let me see
No, I think that's
here.
it, Jason. I kind of went through what you said you were going to talk about, and you touched on everything.
Okay, good, good. Mona, guys, remember Mona. And that's it really. Use your light and keep track of everything. Let me just share one more thing with before I let off, before 30 minutes here. Um, what you guys want to really do is keep track like the SIE 21 day course. Okay, I marked off, look at all the green. When you watch something, mark it off. Go to the next one, mark it off. Write the dates on them. On Tammy's, I know there's like more dates you can fill in on them. This might not be, look it, you fill in everything. So I started Tammy on 5/7 and I watched as many things as I can and fill it in. Test date and time 5/13. Most only never always. Again, I always wrote that down before I started taking tests because you're starting to train yourself on what to look for and those answers before you read the question. And I promise
Yeah.
you guys, I started reading the answers and I would click before reading the question and I started getting them right. Once you start being able to read the answers and answer without reading the question, you will be ready for this test. If you can't do that, you're not ready. If you don't know how to eliminate, look at A, down, down, B, up, up, down, up. So these are just little things that I used to do, bullish, bearish, calls and puts. Those are all things that you're gonna have to use on here. 5/7, and you don't have to do one thing at a time. I went like five units, the 7, 8, 9. So write everything down. Look at this score. I got a 74% after I started utilizing this correctly. The last time I tested, I got a 48%. So I
Wow.
jumped 30% um, by utilizing what Tammy teaches. Look at this one. I got a 66%. Last time I got a 59%. So just doing these things like this, both tries, 54%. Now I know where I needed to focus. If you're getting 50s and 60s, I did unit 4 over and over and over again. So you're just gonna keep studying. Um, And be real, look, when I got a low score, I let myself know and then I went and took more tests. So fill these out, go take your test. Don't be scared to test. The worst thing that could happen, really tell yourself, what's the worst thing that will happen if I fail? And say it out loud. I have to wait 30 days. That's it. You're not gonna die. People aren't gonna think you're dumb. You're not gonna think you're dumb. Nothing happens to you. All that happens is you fail. You know where to study at now because they're gonna give you a breakdown of where you were weak at, and you go and hit and study for the next 30 days. You don't wait 30 days to start studying. You study those 30 days leading up to your 31st day, so you're ready to test by day 33. Okay, so I believe in you. You need to believe in you. You have the content, you have the test taking techniques, you have everything you need to go past these tests. Now just go do it and do it and do it. Okay, let me